Okay, back again here. Paul J. Cervone around town with my good friend Massimo Taurisano of Home Team Inspection Services.
Nice to see you,
Welcome
Paul, again.
back. Yes, nice to see you too. Well, in our last segment, we were talking a little bit about the background from your company and the team approach. And my God, you were doing a 13,000 square foot house with a team of 6 people in 2.5 hours, which is unheard of and unseen. So again, for our audience out there, talk about value proposition and dividing and conquering, and still delivering a quality report with lots of pictures. I want to touch upon what's in your reports typically, and obviously why the pictures are important for our clients, right? Our mutual buyer clients, and what that shares as far as knowledge, but also, the important facet of not only just what's in the report, but your approach.
Yep.
And what I have found in my 11 years of doing this as a realtor is there are these home inspectors, unfortunately, that are alarmists, and they just can't wait to find stuff that's wrong with a house. And they're going with that perspective because they want to show their value, right? Sometimes. And so what they end up doing is they basically freak out a buyer, and they get them all concerned that the house is going to fall into the ocean today.
Yep.
Structural, there's a little mold, there's a little water penetration. Every house is so imperfect. We see that all the time. Even new construction. There's no house that is in perfect condition. So I want to talk about your non-alarmist approach to our audience about, you're educational, right? And your job is to inform, not necessarily to say you should or should not buy this house, right? So let's talk about that a little bit.
So thank you for asking this.
Sure.
It's a very, very important point, and it's one of our main objective in our business, the way we approach these inspections. So first of all, let me say that home inspection, what we look for is about safety, bottom line. We are not just looking at ways of finding items that may have an issue, may cost a lot of money for the buyer. So it's about safety. And let me say that the Massachusetts standard of practice for home inspectors are pretty strict. So it's pretty well laid out what we need to inspect in a home and what are the components, and there are not many shortcuts there. Right. Okay. The way we report, like I said, we present the fact at the time of inspection, and we explain. We have a very, very structured approach when we start an inspection. First, we meet with the agent, with the buyer, our client. We introduce ourselves. We explain, especially as a first-time buyer, what a home inspection is about and how this is going to play out.
Sure.
And let me say, even before we go to an inspection, we do a lot of homework ahead. We study the home. We get access to the MLS, to all the information that is out there. So when we go to the house, we are prepared. We kind of know what to expect. And we can either validate it or not, but we are ready to go. So we meet with the client, with the agent, explain how this is going to go. Then when we start the inspection, we tell our buyer and the agent, if they want to follow us during the inspection, they are free to do so.
Sure.
Any question they have, we are happy to answer. In an event, at the end of inspection, we meet again, and we give them a pretty good detailed rundown of our findings.
Sure.
Which are strictly facts. We don't comment on like you said before, whether or not this is a good house to buy or not, etc. Right. It's absolutely not.
Because I'm sure that's a common question from the buyer.
It comes all the
pool.
time.
They said, Massimo, what do you think? Is it a good house? I mean, do you see any major flaws, defects, or what have you? And again, from liability, but also just from a professional practice standard,
we're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, you're basically just informing them of what you see, what you observe. You're not a licensed contractor. You're not a roofer. You're not an electrician. You're not a plumber. But you have working knowledge in all these different facets, right?
That's absolutely right.
Of structural, mold, whatever you're going to see with any of those types of things. So,
as home inspectors, we are not allowed, for instance, to comment on cost.
Yeah.
Many times I get a typical question, how much is going to cost to replace this roof?
Yeah, totally.
I'm not allowed to comment on that.
Yeah.
We are not allowed to give any legal advice or any sort of it.
Right.
But in any event, so we tell them up front at the end of inspection what our findings are and what to expect in the report.
Yep.
So when we get the report, there will be no surprises.
Okay, great. Well, listen, Massimo, I think this is a really awesome topic. We spent some time discussing today. Again, Around Town with Paul J. Cervone and Massimo Taurisano from Home Team Inspection Service.
Yep.
Great to see you again.
See you again.
Okay.